Good morning, everybody. We're delighted to have you with us at the next session, the North Carolina Practitioner Panel. Um, Before we get started, we'll give a few seconds for any late folks to kind of pop in, but we do want to take a second to, again, thank you and welcome you to DE24. We hope that you've enjoyed your time with us thus far and you enjoyed the keynote speaker from all our distinguished guests. Again, we're delighted to have you, and we're looking forward to the next 15 minutes to talk about some really key things from our key players that'll be joining us for this session. So we do invite you to have your chats open. So if you have any questions or if there's any thoughts or comments that you'd like to share, we would love for you to have share that with us as we go through. So this can be a dialogue between our guest and you. So feel free to share your thoughts or questions throughout the session. We do have some questions that we're going to use to get us started. But before we do that, we want to introduce ourselves. My name is Aaron Mabe. I'm the program coordinator for Career and College Promise at the North Carolina Community College System Office. And I'm joined with my colleague, Isaac Lake.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much, Aaron, and we just appreciate all of you all being with us this afternoon. I am the state consultant at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction for Career and College Promise, which is our dual enrollment program in North Carolina, and for Cooperative Innovative High Schools, which are our early colleges, middle colleges, and other innovative high schools. We've got four awesome people who lead this work every day with us today. So Aaron, I'll turn it over to you to introduce our awesome panelists.
Thanks, Isaac. So yes, without further ado, we want to introduce our panel. We're so grateful that you all took time to join us, and we're looking forward to your insight. Lori, do you want to start us off? Introduce yourself.
Sure. Hello, my name is Lori Fox. I'm the principal of Haywood Early College.
And I'm Princessa Hurd. I am an academic counselor and also the coordinator for Career and College Promise here at Coastal Carolina Community College.
My name is Michael Elder, and I serve as the Director of College and Career Readiness for Onslow County Schools here in North Carolina.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nick Testa, and I'm the Early College Coordinator here at Central Carolina Community College.
Thanks, everybody. So get us started, why don't we'll go right down the line. Why don't each of you talk about your dual enrollment program or your early college program and why it serves students or something that's unique about your specific institutional partnership. We'll start with you, Michael.
Sure. So we are a system of about nearly 30,000 students. And so our dual enrollment is a huge part of how we meet the needs of our kids who have aspirations and some of our kids who don't have aspirations, and we encourage them to be a part of this. So the dual enrollment allows, of course, our kids to both experience college while they have the support of their high school family, and also take it as far as achieving that associate degree. And so we do also house an early college high school. So that is a piece of our dual enrollment. Last year, we had just over 2,100 courses taken by our students in Onslow County. So we're always looking to grow, but super thankful for the partnership with Coastal Carolina Community College.
I guess I'll piggyback right off of Michael since he's my partner in crime. Coastal's CCP program is unique because we work so closely with Onslow County schools. Everything we do with our CCP program and our early college program, we always say, how would this affect Onslow County schools? Every decision that we make, any new pathway that we form, we always get with our partnership school, which is Onslow County Schools, and we make sure that it's going to streamline. It's not going to take away from any of their programs. The unique situation with Onslow County is Onslow County Schools actually has a skills center, which also offers a lot of trade programs. So we don't want to pull away from what they are serving their students. We want to add to it. So what's unique about our school is that we have that skill center with Onslow County Schools. And we have such a great partnership that I can text Michael like, hey, this is an idea we're having. And then we can brainstorm how it would affect Coastal and how it would affect Onslow County Schools. And we come up with a plan to work together. The other unique thing is our community colleges, we send our instructors to Onslow County schools and our instructors teach on their campus. So that's how we're helping try to eliminate some barrier and some access issues with some students.
Thanks. I think a key thing to highlight that you all have said, and kind of going back to our keynote about the partnership, the importance of a partnership, and making sure that we're all collaboratively approaching this thing we call dual enrollment together. So thank you for highlighting that. Nick, I'll turn the mic over to you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you probably hear me and everybody say partnership quite a bit. And as you guys know, it's essential, and relationships as well, but within all these partnerships. I think looking at Central Carolina, we serve 3 counties, and there's 1 early college in each county. And I think it's pretty cool that they're all different in their own way, in the sense of, like any county has their own needs, but they all operate pretty similarly in terms of how students get into the early colleges. And to me, like, I find that really important, because we can all, come through with ideas, or if something we use at, like here in Lee Early College, we can help with Chatham Early College, when they can, and it might help them. So, those ideas can really be useful for all 3. And the other really nice thing here is, for each of the early colleges, you can do a university transfer, right? You can always go that pathway. But you can do CTE as well. You can do any program that the community college offers for the most part. There's a few competitive admission ones in health science that they can't do, but as long as the student can do it, and we offer it, like, they can jump right on board. And I think that's one of the greatest parts about early colleges, is having that opportunity to be able to do an associate degree, and of your choice for the most part, do something really really cool and really great that they might not have realized they could have done if they went maybe a more traditional route and not tried college level courses in high school.
Lori, so I'll turn the mic over to you. Interested to hear your perspective as a principal of an early college.
Sure. I also want to place an importance on partnerships. So we're located on Haywood Community College's campus and serve around 200 high school students from within our district. And I think what people find unique about the early college is, one, our individual advising program. 96% of our graduates are completing with an associate degree. So we've been very intentional with how we have structured our advising for our students from 9th grade to graduation. And another is our use of technology. We're an Apple Distinguished School, so a lot of innovative learning and teaching in our building with Apple technology.
So along those same lines, Lori, can you tell us about how you and your team recruit and serve your target population? So students at risk for not graduating, first-gen college goers, and students who would benefit from accelerated instruction in terms of advising and some of the technology you were just mentioning.
Yeah, and Aaron, let's just lift up for our national guests that our early colleges, by legislation, target these 3 groups to serve these. We call them our target populations for cooperative innovative high schools. So students at risk of not graduating, first generation college goers, and students who would benefit from accelerated instruction. Great question to Lori. Thank you.
So the early college is still an untraditional route in our district, because it's still kind of new when you look at the age of our school compared to our traditional high school. So parents and grandparents aren't aware as much, because it was not available when they were in high school. So we have to do a lot of work with our parents and grandparents. So we start out bringing all middle schoolers to our campus to see the community college and the early college. And then we move into interest meetings with interested families and students, and really take a deeper dive into recruitment of these 3 groups of students. It's been really eye-opening to me as a high school principal when I think about students at risk of dropping out. I have in the past always thought those are for academic reasons. And that's not the case when you really get to talking to students. They love the smaller environment. They love the intentional advising. They love the support. They love the hybrid model. There's just so much that early colleges can offer to a kid who does not fit into the traditional mold and can really be successful at early colleges. As far as support, we realize it's a big transition to an early college. Our students are on a hybrid model from the time they're in 9th grade. So they're in face-to-face college classes here with their peers in early college sections from the time that they walk into the door. So we have freshman seminar where myself and our counselor and our college liaison meet with them every Friday to help transition them. They're in study hall with our liaison and counselor once a week throughout the entire year. Individual advising, again, we meet with all 200 of them and their parents every semester to start creating this plan. So there's no tracking at our early college. It's truly 200 different plans and matching that up with their bachelor degree plan and just getting the classes that really match what their career interests are and where they plan to go to a university. Along with that is our technology and just our teachers and the collective efficacy here that once a teacher comes to our early college, they only leave when they retire. So we really get to build year after year on really good instruction and use of our technology on the high school side.
One of the things I started at Coastal this year to give more exposure to our early college that we host on our campus. We offer campus tours on our campus for our high schools and our middle schoolers. And we've added that as a part of the tour. So I've gotten with the principal at our early college, and he comes in and he's actually one of the sessions on the campus tour where he comes in and talks about early college to those students. He can give out handouts and stuff, but I found that it has helped with more exposure to what that environment looks like because they really don't know what it looks like. And they get to tour the building that the early college is housed in. So that's something that at Coastal we started putting with our campus tours when we have other schools and middle schools coming to our campus.
I'll jump in with the recruitment as well and a few other things with the I know the early colleges here started a few years ago doing a parent tour as a requirement as part of the application. So parents or families have to come onto campus and see the college campus themselves. Because we do have a parent night, information night as part of it as well. But we also do a tour as part of it. So they can see where the students are going to be. The students, like Lori said, the students with Central Carolina, also the middle schoolers all come onto our campus and tour the early college and see everything as part of the recruitment, which is a big deal as well. And then in terms of the partnership, I think one of the cooler things that these early colleges with Central Carolina do is there's an interview night to try and get to know the students and the families a little bit more on an individual basis, because up until then it's been a lot of group information delivery. And so with these interviews, the students are interviewed by a small team, and on that team is an early college teacher and a CC staff member. And, you know, the president for the college is here. A lot of the deans, some of the instructors that teach the early college students a lot are part of these interview committees. So the students get to see, you know, the partnership. The teachers feel it, the college feels it. So the interview is a really cool opportunity for the early colleges to really grow that partnership and show it.
So thank you all. I want to turn the mic to Michael. I'm interested from your perspective. We talked about recruitment, but my next line of question, I guess, is more towards communication. You know, for our national partners, we instituted or there was a new policy and put in place regarding a partnership agreement between the college and the school district. And so my question in terms of communication goes, can you talk a little bit about your work with your college and the school district partners to ensure structured, ongoing communication and collaboration that supports student success?
100%. Yeah. And I always want to give credit where it's due, and the credit goes to Coastal. They have really said, what can we do to make sure that kids know what's going on? And so our college liaisons, which are employees of the community college, but who come on to our high school campuses, they're our first line, right? So they are present in every high school at least one day a week, pretty much the whole school year long. So from enrollment to support to enrollment again for the next semester, that is huge, right? So kids know they can go to their school counselor's office, they can sign in, they can sign up for a meeting with that person. And then in addition to that, their lead person puts together a newsletter that goes to all of our principals, it goes to all of our district staff, it goes to I'm sure lots of other people too, and it just helps us all stay on track. They give us, here's the dates that are coming up, so nobody misses the registration timeline. Hey, here's some events that are happening on the community college campus. And so all of that communication is also worded in our memorandum of agreement between the school district and Coastal. But I also want to say all that also existed before we needed that on paper.
Yeah.
So we've kind of solidified it now, or codified it in that document. But they led that charge, and then we turned that over to our school staff. We use our social media presence to make sure that those things get blasted out. And then also the last piece would be anything that's a really key date, we make sure it goes out in our district news, which reaches everybody from K through 12. So before they know what CCP is, or before they even care, they're hearing the phrase, they're getting used to that. So I'm sure there's still pockets we can improve on, but that's probably a real strength in what we do. And that probably is why we get the numbers that we have.
And so to kind of elaborate on that, I'm looking at Nick and Lori for this as well. In terms of that communication, can you talk to us about how that information is specifically going to maybe the parents or guardians? Because I think that's for any dual enrollment, that's a key stakeholder for success.
Sure. I think I'll go back to our individual advising sessions once per semester with families. So all of our families are here. They know their child's plan. If it needs to change, it changes. And then just opening up lines of communication with them. We use the Remind app a lot. We're available 24/7. Parents have come to rely on that. I think it's just really important for early colleges, especially to be able to communicate everything going on the community college side, because our students are community college students as well as the high school side. So they're really operating between two mediums the entire time they're with us. So our liaison, and I know we'll talk about liaisons in a minute, plays a huge role in our communication from the community college to families.
Yeah, definitely. Lori, I don't think I need to say anything else. No, I will. I'll being the coordinator, and also I'm the liaison for 2 of the 3 early colleges as well. And just viewing that role almost as like a staff member in the high school, and feeling like, I go like going to staff meetings, or, something is small, possibly as just being in the yearbook, something like that, where students can see, they see college and community college kind of everywhere. We also, similar to what Principal Fox said, we have, like, I always invite students or parents, to advising meetings. And they don't have to come, but they're always invited. And we always try, I always try to be there for certain high school events all the way through, so that they just know, whether it's me or somebody else from the college, there's always a presence. And there's always, announcements made, for, if there's a basketball game on campus, just something where the parents and the families and the students feel like they're community college students. They're because we don't, our early colleges do not have sports. But so it's nice to kind of be able to fill the gap in some way, just to feel maybe it's not, because it's not an early college event, it's still a community college event, because they are community college students. So it's for them to get to go see things like that are, a little bit outside of the rigor of the academics that they do here.
Isaac, I would like to jump in too, where the communication is. Something that Onslow County Schools has done well with Coastal is we attend so many events. My boss is always telling me I'm always out till 7:30 at night, hanging out with Michael, doing something. But we attend open houses just to have a table. Onslow County Schools had a magnet fair the other day, and he invited us to have a table. Do you know, setting up that table, we had more parents not reach out just about career college promise, but for themselves to come to Coastal as adult learners at that event. So all the events that I attend I probably see Dr. Elder probably 10 times a month. We go to a lot of events together. I always bring regular stuff too for the parents as well. But we attend open house, we go to 9th grade orientation, and usually each of the high schools gives us about 15 minutes to do a presentation. So that way the information is getting to the parents as well in so many different levels. So Onslow County Schools has been great with opening the door to inviting us to career fairs and all the functions that they have on their campuses as well for communications with the parents.
And Isaac, we had a question in the chat. Do you wanna grab
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, so I think this question is for Nick. It reads, or Nick and Princessa perhaps, as the liaison coordinator, aren't you under a contract? Any issues with the increased participation being in conflict with your union contract?
A union contract.
Welcome to
I-
North Carolina, everybody.
That was my question, and I just want to be clear. I'm in Pennsylvania, but I wanted to obviously join this. And I love what you said, Nick, but I was like, oh, what is he talking about? Participation, because our liaisons and coordinators in our program are faculty. So unless I'm misunderstanding that, we are under a contract, and that participation, the stitching for retention sounds amazing, but I want to, like, a lot of things are clearly outlined in the contract that they can and cannot do, or will not do. So that's what I wanted to kind of just see.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I saw the union part. I was like, oh, okay. But so for my role, my main role really is to support the students and the early college in any way possible. So as much as I can possibly do. And that's why I feel so lucky that these roles exist. And so in terms of the participation within career, I wish I could do more, or we wish, with liaisons, I know there's always feeling like more time. You can do as much as you can, which is great. And I hope that helps answer the question. Like, it's like, I'm not faculty, like this is my entire role.
And I can say too, I don't know about the union part, but I know if you have a contract and you need to stay within that, I'm pretty sure in your contract, you can create advertisement and promotion that you can pass on to the high schools, and they can do the work for you. Whereas, a lot of times I will have new things come up at the college and I will put it in the hands of the high school counselor. And the high school counselor can then share that information if that's gonna interfere with what your working environment contract is. I feel like there's always a way, as long as you have that connection with that school, with those people, and build that relationship, they're willing to step outside and say, okay, look, this is from the college. And even though this is not part of our duties, we're going to share that information because it benefits the students. Our entire goal is for the best interest of each and every student. And so I would think building that relationship with your local high schools, and then if you can't physically do that because it's outside of your contract, to just provide them that information. And more than likely, you'll see that they'll pass it on to those parents for you.
Just to clarify, maybe I'm misunderstanding. So we have the faculty side, there's a DE team who do exactly what you're saying. And they do that. They have those
Yes.
relationships. But I guess your language of liaison and coordinator, I'm trying to understand if you guys are considered faculty, which would be unionized in my area. And that's where I'm trying to make a distinction, because that to me is another layer of support, but it's not in the current contract, if that makes sense.
That does. Thank you. That's
Okay.
very helpful. We
Okay.
have Julie Edmonds, who is with us in the background today, also one of the great leaders who has led the research of early colleges for many years in North Carolina. She puts an answer to this in the chat. She writes, the college liaisons are not usually faculty. As Nick said, that this is a full role. Also, NC law forbids collective bargaining. So our unions don't have the same level of bargaining power. I think I should maybe add, one of the themes that we've talked about and that we heard in our keynote is the importance of funding and personnel to make this work really work for the students who need it the most. And so in North Carolina, our cooperative innovative high schools, the vast majority of them receive supplemental funding in addition to the way they are funded as a regular public school. And so, our public schools get funding based on how many students are enrolled. That's called ADM, or average daily membership. Early colleges get that, but they also get a supplemental funding. And so for most of the schools, that's $200,000 a year. Schools in our lowest wealth counties, early colleges rather, get $275,000 a year, and in our richest counties, 180. But it's important. I would note that one of the things that our early colleges use that money for is to hire the college liaison position. And so the college liaison, while is an employee of the community college, they're actually getting the funding for the position from the school district through the supplemental funding that North Carolina provides. And so there's every incentive for our college liaisons to play this absolutely critical role. And so that's part of the way that North Carolina has created really strong structured partnerships and provided funding to make this successful.
Thank
That
you,
makes
Isaac.
perfect sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. And Isaac raises another good point that I think this is prime opportunity to talk about. So in that partnership, right there, communication, as he said, is key for success, but sometimes there may be some opportunities for strengthening. So if you'd like to share maybe some areas of strength in terms of that dual responsibility that we all have. I mean, there are times in the month where things get to be or your plate gets full, rather. So if you want to share maybe some best practices or some experiences that you've experienced as in this dual capacity.
One of the things I do, because I wear a lot of hats, the liaisons are super important. I cannot thank my college enough for having liaisons that do the daily grind. But what I can say is I am able to, with the regular academic counseling team here at Coastal, and our weekly meetings that we have, I share CCP updates. So technically, if a parent came into campus, and if I'm busy and my plate is full, I can pull another counselor that's not the coordinator for CCP to handle that same load, because I keep them updated with facts and stuff, and if they need to pop in my office. So a lot of times as the coordinator, I don't just rely on myself. I do a lot of events that I'll pull my nursing counselor. She'll come with me so she can feel those allied health side that's a little bit more complicated. So a lot of times I'll pull another counselor from another area to lighten that load on my plate. So it's really a team effort, not just for the coordinator for CCP, but my team as a counselor at the college supports me very well to take stuff off of my plate.
Nick, I'm thinking about you and working with the 3 different school districts as a liaison. I imagine that can be exciting. So if you could share maybe some best practices in working with, I'm assuming if needs may be slightly different with your 3 different school districts.
Yes, it's very exciting. And I think one of the things that helps liaisons is going like to staff meetings and just making sure that they're up to date so both sides, they know what's going on at the high school. It could be as minor or as typical as like, okay, ACT testing, for example, is coming up next Tuesday, right? So we want to make sure that our college instructors know that students will be missing for ACT. And we know that because we stay in the loop and just keep that communication. It still goes back to the partnerships and the relationships, like being able to build those and have that a little bit of trust there as well, to know that we are communicating the things that we are sharing with each other. That's really helpful as well, going again, using those key terms. And so with the 3 counties, sometimes, as we know, every county is a little bit different. But we rely on our liaisons to make sure we know those things and we're staying basically just in that constant weekly communication. Here's what's happening at the college. Here's what's happening at the high school. Here's who we need to communicate certain things to, as simple as, you know, this school is off next week. So the security knows, like for spring break, you don't have to worry about buses coming onto campus, or you don't have to worry about students being here or there on campus. You know, it's little things that add up to be a really big deal, just for communication and the trust in general across the 3 campuses.
Thanks, Nick. So, Isaac, it's like you had something on the top of your head.
Well, I wonder if we could talk just a little bit about readiness, academic readiness. So how are we making sure that what we're doing in middle school and what we're doing in the 9th and 10th grade is making sure is getting our students what they need, knowledge, skills, persistence, etc., self-advocacy, so that they can be successful in college coursework. I'm thinking especially about our folks who work with school districts. So Lori and Michael, but Lori, you mentioned having that veteran staff, and it's been a while since I've visited, but I remember what an awesome staff you have, and I think some of the most engaging math instruction I've ever seen in my life, for example. But how do your teachers work with your students in the 9th and 10th grade, and just in general, to build the literacy, to build the numeracy, the self-advocacy and persistence, so that they can be successful in college while they're in high school? And then Michael, what are your folks doing in the middle schools and in the 9th and the 10th grade in terms of instruction?
So I think the self-advocacy and persistence is all of our responsibility, from leadership to liaison to counselor to faculty. One of the things we talk to parents in those visits early on is your child will know how to self-advocate. And so we teach them beginning in 9th grade how to write an email to a college instructor, how to set up a meeting with a college instructor. And I think we take for granted that they know how to do that, but they don't know what they don't know until we model that for them. So by the time our students leave, they're very good at self-advocating, and they will come back and visit and say, one of the most important things you taught me was how to set up visits with college instructors, how to write an email that can meet my needs without being rude to an instructor, just teaching them all of that stuff. As far as instruction, just again, teaching, learning, modeling, very purpose-driven, but data-informed at the early college. There is a focus on collaborative learning and shared learning, and just getting kids into that higher order thinking. Here, very common things, but we just try to do them in an uncommon way.
And it must take real planning for your teachers to pull that off, particularly together.
Sure, they have common planning, 30 minutes in the morning and an hour and a half in the afternoon. So every day is a constant conversation across subjects, and vertical alignment as well. Throughout our faculty, it's really cool. We stay in a PLC meeting like 24/7, it feels like.
It is really cool. Thank you.
I would just add to that, you know, students never achieve a challenge that they're not presented with. And I say that in all sincerity, that when kids don't have the opportunity to participate in dual enrollment, they will never achieve it. And so we have worked hard and continue to work hard on just sharing the message that you can do this, partnering it with things like Avid. And if you're not familiar with Avid, you can certainly research those pieces, but finding a way that you build a support structure for kids who may need a support structure. That this is college coursework and there are going to be expectations, but that doesn't mean that kids need to realize that even when you go off to college, you can find support. It's not if you're smart, you can handle this, and if you're not, then sorry. So breaking that mindset, breaking those maybe traditional views. So number one is making sure that people are aware. So I think Aaron and Isaac, you started us with like, how do we get that word out? And then the second part that Coastal has really helped us with in the last couple of years is bringing those courses on campus. we've learned, Princess and I were talking the other night, we want to surround those classrooms with college signage that kids know when they walk into that classroom, they are entering a Coastal Carolina Community College class, even though it's room 512, right? And that's how they know it otherwise, that when you walk into that room, you are now a college student. Let's go. And you have all your family around you, you have all those things, but this is college and you are in it. And you are going to find college everywhere you go for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
We think about how many of our kids are going to know college completely virtually and may never step on a college campus. So like there's all types of college that for most of us, that wasn't a reality, right? And now it is. So I think, we have a principal in our district that her phrase is always belief shatters limits. And that's what we're trying, right? If we believe in these kids, and that's not the only thing you can do, but that's the first step, right? Is believe in it, make it happen, and clear the path.
You so much, Michael. We've got several questions in the chat now, which is terrific. We would love to transition to your questions for our guests. I'll read each of them. The first question is for Princessa. The question is, you advise for CCP rather than early college, correct? If so, can you talk about what the advising process looks like for you? Does the college liaison advise all students on college courses, or do high school counselors assist with this?
So I handle more so the CCP side than the early college, but I do the early college as well. I'm very fortunate that Coastal has provided full-time success coaches. So we have some success coaches that help run our early college program. So I have a full-time success coach that her office is actually housed in our early college building, and she does well with advising with the early college students because the first 2 years are pretty much set, but they have a 4-year plan that they make at the beginning. So I don't have to really do a lot unless people change their minds, and then they come to me. But on the CCP side of it, our liaisons do one-on-one advising with every single CCP student. We pull up BDPs, we make a plan of action, they have a pathway. If they want to change their pathway, they actually have to tell us why and provide a new BDP plan and a new plan of action of the courses that they plan on taking. The liaisons not only meet with just the CCP students, they actually also meet with every early grad that Onslow County high schools have. So if a student is slated to be a 3-year grad or an early grad, our liaisons meet with each and every one of them one-on-one. We get a roster and they pull them. And so I'm very fortunate that Coastal has provided staff for me that we are able to go to every high school. And if you're familiar with Onslow County, we have a lot of schools. We have 7 public high schools. We have a alternative school. We also have the base high school, and we have about 5 or 6 private schools, not to mention the slew of homeschools organizations that we have. But we do meet with every student one-on-one, and every student has their own plan set for them.
Princess, a quick jump in before we move on. Just want to clarify maybe for our national guest what a BDP is.
So each university and college in the state of North Carolina, we have one universal website that we can go on, and the university actually makes a plan, a 4-year plan for when a student starts off at a community college. So when a student starts with us, whether it's CCP or regular college student, we can pull up NC State, North Carolina State University, and find out if you want to be an engineer, a civil engineer, these are the classes that they request for you to take at the community college level. So we do that with every CCP student and every early grad that Onslow County has. We have a BDP. And if they don't want to do a 4-year, we do trades as well. Coastal actually gives out a scholarship for Onslow County school students going into the trade programs. So we do make a plan to go into welding. We make a plan going into automotive, but every student has a one-on-one plan created.
Awesome. So again, BDP, folks, is bachelor degree plan. And that's something that our public universities provide in coordination with our community colleges. More questions in the chat. Want to make sure we lift these up. Two of these are very similar. They are for Lori. Well, essentially one says, how many staff do you have? How many students does each? How many schools students does each serve? I'm not sure if that's for Lori. That might be for Nick. However, two people are asking Lori something very similar. How does your schedule allow for all that common planning? And how many staff do you have? Start there. And then there's a question for Nick about Avid.
So we have 15 staff members. Our staff day begins at 8 o'clock and ends at 3:30 every day. So they have from 8 to 8:30 to plan. They have from 2:15 to 3:30 to plan. And then we have an academic enrichment opportunities time during the middle of our day where we do remediation enrichment with high school classes, as well as if our students fall below 80 in the college class, our high school teachers are also remediating with them. We do clubs, and our teachers rotate on and off planning during that time as well. So they do get a lot of planning time, but it is well worth it when you see what's going on in classrooms.
Absolutely, well said. Thank you. Okay, they're coming in now, so I'm having to scroll a little bit. One person writes, Princessa, including your alternative school is wonderful. And Princessa has responded, yes, we include the alternative school. Those are just students that have that are decision challenged. They still get access and college support. Michael Elder adds, yes, high school students who attend Alternative Learning Center are able to participate in dual enrollment if that's what they want to do as well. Coastal Community College does a great job of reaching out to kids regardless of where they are. Here. Nick, there was something, here it goes. I know Chatham is big on Avid. Have you blended dual enrollment approaches with that curriculum? I can say that many of our early colleges do have Avid, but Nick, take it away, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know as much about the Avid specifically. I know they use all the strategies for sure. And then they go in terms of DE, they don't use much of that. It's more of, when they're done as sophomores with their high school, that's required there. Then they flip over as a junior and senior in our full-time college in person on the Pittsburgh campus there with Central Carolina. So it's the majority of that is in person. And I know there's Avid strategies there. I don't believe that there are actual Avid classes taught at the early college there.
In fact, I should add that while a lot of our early colleges, or I should say several of our early colleges actually do offer Avid, many of our early colleges have adapted and built their own strategies to support the same outcomes. And they have the personal relationships with students to really leverage those relationships to help students work harder. These are all great. I'm going to make sure I'm lifting everything up here. Okay, my question is for Princessa. How many CCP liaisons do you have, and how many schools do they serve? Since they meet one-on-one with every CCP student, I'm interested in how many students they are meeting with.
I have three liaisons, which I'm fighting for more. My division chair, she knows I'm always asking for more. I have 3 liaisons. They go to they're assigned schools. So to give the students consistency. So I have the same liaisons. Each year we sit down and they usually service the same school the entire year. They meet with a couple hundred students. I can say we pulled data from last year for spring and summer. The beginning of summer, they met with 800 and something students. So that's pretty significant for just 3 people. I fill in when I need to fill in, but I'm usually the one out there doing presentations and things like that. But we meet with every single one of them. But we are blessed that Onslow County Schools allows them to go into their campus. So in Onslow County Schools, they have Power Hour, where there's times dedicated for things like this. And so we can pull students. I can say today, we just had a presentation at one of our local high schools. My liaisons, they pulled all rising juniors. So all rising juniors had an assembly today at this one high school, and my liaison did a presentation, and she texted me so happy, and that 75% of them signed up for more information. So we worked really well with Onslow County, and that's where building that relationship where they're allowing us to do that. They'd say, hey, we'll pull all the juniors, all the coming juniors, and then you guys present to them. And so, but yeah, 800, I believe it was like 880 that they met with within about a 5-month period. They met with those students.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Princess. And Michael, you wanted to add, you put something in the chat. Could you just say that?
Oh, I would just say our numbers last year were at 662 unique students, and that's just the Onslow County school students. So you have Camp Lejeune High School, the private schools, and that doesn't count all the kids who just wanted to come and talk to them to find out if they were interested. So I would guess there's another third of that number who came in and said, I'd rather take an AP class, or I'd rather do the IB program. So what they do a great job is not pitting things against each other. It's finding what matches the kid.
If the one thing to take away from this as a coordinator, and I said this to Michael the other night, is I don't see Coastal versus Onslow County schools. We've been very successful working together, and I'm not going to convince your child to come to Coastal and take a CCP class over an AP class. We need to work with that high school counselor and build that relationship. We've had several students graduate with their associate's degree as a regular Onslow County high school student and not early college, because we work with their AP courses and we work with CCP courses. So I just like to be Michael's point of contact. Whatever he needs, he can call. If he needs to set up a meeting with another department, I'm like, this is who you need to call, here you go. But to work together, because if the best interest of the student, my logic is if we educate them and train them, they'll go away and hopefully they'll come back and build up Onslow County.
Most excellent, everybody. And there's a question, assuming that your college liaisons are all full-time. Yes, I think that is correct. Yeah.
No, that is not correct. My liaisons are part-time liaisons. They multiply in my head. They are amazing women. I have 3 women that work for me. They are amazing and they're dedicated to the programs. Some of them were former educators themselves, and now they're working part-time with us. They're amazing. I couldn't do what I do without. I know I'm losing one of them due to military orders at the end of the year, and I already went to my division chair this morning. I said, she's leaving. I'm going to need to post because I need to really find the right person to fill that spot. But no, they're not full-time, they're part-time. I do have 2 full-time success coaches that are dedicated to Career and College Promise, including early college. And what they do is they make sure the students are successful. They do my grade check-ins. One of them, she does the intervention that if their grade gets around a C, she's going to their school and she's looking for them if they didn't respond to an email. She does tutoring on the campus. She will meet with them on their campus. We do time management training for our CCP students and regular classes. If the Onslow County schools ask us to come in, we'll do time management training. But we actually have a success coach that will drive to a school and pull students out and say, what's going on? How can we help you? Your grade is around a C. We need to bump that up. How can we help you do that?
I'm so glad for that. I appreciate so much that question and for your providing that clarity and additional information about your success coach is really fantastic. Folks, we are at the top of our time. So I'm going to ask Aaron to close us out here. And I just want to, Aaron will thank everybody, but I just want to thank everybody too so much. Thank everybody who joined us today. Thank you so much, Lori Fox, Nick Testa, Michael Elder, and Princessa Hurd for all your leadership and for being with us today. Take it away, Aaron.
Oh, you said it all. Thanks all. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for our guests for attending us. Looking forward for more conversations this afternoon. Feel free to reach out to any of our panels if you have questions, but thanks again. Enjoy your day.